Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Today we are going to take a look at the upcoming episode called Deluge. Deluge, for those who are wondering, one question that you guys have been asking over and over and over is when are we going to get the next DLC? So the next DLC will be available March 29th, 2018. So at the very end of the month. I had mentioned as much in probably some previous videos. It was to be expected. Usually when a new episode goes on the test server, it takes roughly about 2 weeks before the episode actually goes to the live server. And the episode went to the test server just yesterday. So in about 2 weeks, we will get this new episode. And before someone asks, no, I am not Nerd of Prey. Nerd of Prey is someone else. Nerd of Prey, she's the creative director of DCUO, which is not me. So at first, Nerd of Prey mentioned that this will be both an episode and an event. So there will be in the event tab the missions for the Deluge DLC that will be available to all players who have a character that is level 10 or more. So as soon as your character will reach level 10, you will gain access to all the Deluge content with your character. But you will get access to the event version of the content. So basically there's going to be an event version of the content, there's going to be a regular version of the content, and there's going to be an elite version of the content. If you want to have access to everything, you're going to have to be a legendary player, or you're going to have to have purchased the DLC. If you're a free-to-play player or a premium player who did not purchase the DLC, you will gain access to the content through the event tab of the on duty menu. For the story, as was mentioned in previous videos, it is going to be basically the Star Wars event that we had last year with a few extra missions added to it. There's going to be a new raid, a new duo, and probably something else that I forget that's going to be added to the episode, to the DLC. So we're going to get everything we got from the Star Wars event last year, and we're going to get a few extra missions added to the DLC. And there's going to be a few characters added to the game. There's going to be Mara added to the game. There's going to be Black Manta, a new character that is called Corum Wrath, which will be the leader of the Deluge faction. Basically, Deluge is the name of an evil faction of Atlanteans who want to conquer the world or something like that. And obviously there's going to be Aquaman and his evil brother Ocean Master. There's going to be a new model for Aquaman and Mera in this DLC. I don't know if they're going to modify all the Aquaman models so that they match with the new Aquaman version. The same with Mera. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. For Mera, we already saw the new look for Mera during the Valentine seasonal. But here we're going to have a new version of Mera that will be a permanent addition to the game. And they showed a few of the characters that we will meet in the raid. One of those is an evil Morgwar. I have no idea what the name actually means or if it means anything. And there's going to be also a statue of the Morgwar that you're going to be able to have in your league hall or in your base. Also, they mentioned new places that will be added to the game. There's a new Proto-Atlantean temple that will be added, and there is the Spindrift station that will be added. I don't have any images for the Atlantean temple, but we will see an image of the Spindrift station in just a minute. And also something I had mentioned in previous videos, basically they're going to make some changes to Central City in order to be able to add the Deluge content to Central City. Last year what they did is that they created a new version of Central City where the event would happen, but it would seem that since they're going to be add the Deluge DLC as a permanent addition to DC Universe Online. So what they're going to do this time, it seems, is they're actually going to expand the current map of Central City that we have, and they're going to expand the map so that they can add the Deluge DLC content to Central City. Here you can see the Spindrift station, at least a small part of it. Overall, the map looks really nice. From what we understand, thanks to PS3 no longer being supported, they're able to add more texture and more visual effects that they could not add when PS3 was still supported. And one of the things that has been highly requested is to be able to go underwater, like to have basically an Aquaman DLC that would happen underwater. Sadly, they didn't really do that. The closest they did to that is, as you can see here, there is this map here where you can end up underwater, but this is only caused by one of the mechanics that happens in the raid at some point in the raid. Basically, it's going to be some sort of puzzle that the players are going to have to solve together. And part of the puzzle is for some of the players to go in some little rooms where the room will be filled with water, and the rest of the group are going to have to place some air tanks somewhere in order to be able to give air to our little friend who will be stuck underwater. So sadly, it's only a very small part of the raid where the character will end up being underwater, and even more sadly, it's going to be a place where the group will have to work together in order to be able to succeed in the mission. And as soon as I saw this part of the raid, I was heartbroken. Already in the game, when you need a group to activate like just 4 consoles at the same time, very often it's just not possible. There's this mission in the DC Universe Online called Inner Sanctum where you have to activate 4 consoles at the same time, and that mission quickly turns into a nightmare if you play with 3 strangers. And sadly, this is even more complicated. It's a pretty involving puzzles from what I understand. And already I've started reading comments on the forums about people who tried this mission on the test server. And as predicted, a lot of people just rage quit when they cannot solve the puzzle, and they just leave the mission. So sadly, it would seem that this mission will not be possible to complete unless you have a group that can work together. Like, unless you have a group, if you're stuck with a bunch of strangers who cannot work together, you're not going to be able to complete these missions, it would seem. So you're going to need a group that will be able to cooperate together and that will be able to actually do some teamwork together. And sadly, teamwork is not the DCUO player's strongest attribute. So sadly, as nice as this map looks, I sadly strongly suspect that a lot of players will rage quit and a lot of players will not be able to complete this mission. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. And also, they've added new rewards to the game. They've added 2 new sets of gear. They've added a spindrift set of gear, which looks like this. It's some sort of diving suit, but it's like a reverse diving suit. It's a suit that allows Atlanteans to be able to come on land. So basically, it's a suit filled of water so that they can breathe through water. And there's also another suit that is directly inspired by Mera. There's going to be a regular version of the suit and an enhanced version of the suit. The same with the Spindrift. The Spindrifter is going to have a regular version and an enhanced version of the suit. Basically, the enhanced version had this sort of a camouflage pattern on it. And for the Mera suit, the Mera set of gear has some sort of shiny effect added to the suit. It has basically a new material, a new texture added to the suit, which make it sort of shine, which will be more obvious on our little friend here. Like you can see how shiny the enhanced version of the suit is. The enhanced version of the gear will be available in the Deluge vendor. Sadly, in order to be able to purchase the elite version of the gear, obviously you're gonna have to play the elite version of the raid. And as I mentioned, already the raid will have this complicated puzzle, which will make it very difficult for most players to complete. And sadly, it pretty much guarantees that most players will not even be able to complete the elite version of the 8-player mission. And sadly, you're going to have to play the elite version in order to be able to gather the renown you need to be able to purchase the elite version of the Mera set of gear. And for the Spindrift suit, I assume it's going to be a drop that you can get from playing the missions. But the enhanced version of the suit is going to be available in the reward boxes that you will get at the end of each mission. If you're a subscriber or a premium player that purchased the Deluge DLC, you will get an extra reward box whenever you're going to complete missions. Basically, once you're going to defeat the final boss of each mission, you're going to get a little reward box, and you should be able to get the enhanced version of the Spindrift suit and those little reward boxes. And one last thing is that members will be granted a valuable gift pack at the launch of Deluge. So if you're a member or a subscriber, you will get a little box that will give you 3 items. The first item is the base item you see here. It's going to be an item you're going to be able to interact with, and it will feed you some line from I forget what the lines are from, but basically it's not unlike the Aquaman statue that you have to click and you get fed a bunch of lines from either Aquaman or Mera. That base item will be similar. The second item is the bowl you see to the left. And whenever you're going to interact with the bowl, you're going to be able to summon a little Morgwar. You can see the little fella over there. I don't have a good angle of the character, but it's basically the very same thing as the big version we saw a bit earlier in the video. But as you can see, it's a much smaller and I guess a much cuter version of the evil Morgwar. From what I understand, he doesn't stick around very long, but he'll be there for a bit once you summon him. And last but not least, you also get a new material. It is called the iridescent material. It's roughly what they used to put some shiny shine on the Mera set of gear. But as you can see, once you get the actual material, it looks like quite a bit different than the texture they add on the Mera set of gear. But it has more or less the same shiny effect. Also, I read on the forum how this is going to be the start of Tier 9. It wasn't said as much by the devs, but someone posted on the forums that Deluge would actually be Tier 9. So this should be the very first DLC that we have for the Tier 9, putting an end to the Tier 8 content, basically. But the Tier 8 content has been going on and on and on for quite some time. So we were long overdue for a new tier, and it would seem that this will be the first step towards Tier 9. The DLC is on test right now, so if you guys want to try it out, you have the option. You have to download the test client on PC, and you can test out the DLC right now if you want to. Also, there is a live stream on the DCUO channel, so go to the DC Universe Online channel if you want to know more. Again, this DLC will be available at the end of the month. March 29th, 2018 is when the Deluge DLC should go live on the live server. It's been added to the test server, which usually means in 2 weeks it will be ready. But we don't even have to guesstimate in this case. We already were told that the launch date will be March 29th, 2018. And that is pretty much it for now, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask so in the comment section down below, and I'll see what I can do about answering your questions. And that's it for now, guys. So as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.